And a pleasant, good late afternoon and early evening to you all. This is Big Paulie getting ready to come to you with three games from May of 1971, the first few days of May. So we wish you all well. Hope you are doing well this 18th day of May, 2021. I was out of action yesterday, so we will do Birth of the Bolts again on Twitch, and then the subsequent day on YouTube next week, which will be the 24th. So I apologize for missing my appointment. Doesn't happen too frequently, but every now and then there's an issue that comes up, and I'm not going to mention the issue that it is. And just leave it at that. If you follow our YouTube channel, our next stream will be the meet with Big Polly. We're supposed to have Tom Vogel of Wrestling's Finest on, and that will be Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, on the Big Polly's World of Sports Sims YouTube page and perhaps the Facebook channel. I just got to remind myself to plug in the tweet on the Big Polly's World of Sports Sims Facebook channel. I always seem to put like a blurb or two up a day. In fact, you know what I should do? Hang on a second, folks. Now, this might mess around with the bandwidth that I have, but I am going to record a promo and I'll let you all in on it. So if you would stand by, please. I'll do this right now. Actually, what I need to do is I need to go into photos. Nope, 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 that won't work. Camera, video. And I should probably hold the camera up a different way. We're in the final countdown before 7 o'clock on the Big Polly's World of Sports Sims channel, which is TV Polly on Twitch. We're going to play a little random acts of OOTP from the 1971 season. So if you want to find me on Twitch, I am TB Polly, capital T, capital B, capital P, AULY, the last four letters in lowercase. Thank you. And that took all of about half a minute. So I'll put this up on my channel, like so. And if it messes with the stream a little bit, well, it messed with the stream with 6 minutes and 40 seconds left before I go. So I'm doing this, I'm typing this into my iPhone. Technology is grand, but it could also be a real bitch. As I get the news that Mike Trout will be out 6 to 8 weeks for the real life 2021 Anaheim Angels. So if you missed this stream on Twitch and you're seeing this on YouTube, well, I did it on Twitch 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock the day before you see this, which is Tuesday the 18th. And if you're seeing this on Twitch, it'll be available probably around 9 o'clock or so tomorrow night. I don't do any. Tomorrow is my wild card Wednesday, I like to call it, because it's a day I like to do what I like to do, and sometimes I like to do nothing, and sometimes I like to surprise you with what I do. So wild card Wednesday is always a little treat on the channel. Sometimes I will do nothing, and I probably am gonna wind up doing nothing and just get ready for the meet with Big Polly the following evening and do Glory Days boxing. And I am seeing that, yep, there it is. It's up. And it's good on the Facebook page. We're under 5 minutes left before we start. I'm looking at the 71 standings, which is what we'll lead off with when I start doing the stream. And we have four close races right now. Remember, this is back when they had four divisions of six, two in the AL, two in the NL. And you got very close races now all the way around. And channel, which is TV Poly on Twitch. We're going to play a little random acts of OOTP from the 1971 season. So if you want to find me on Twitch, I am TV Poly, capital T, capital B, capital P, AULY, the last four letters in lowercase. Thank you. See? We're in the final countdown. Okay, I heard it. I heard it now. I heard it enough. Even me, I don't like the sound of my voice that much. So we're almost there. 3 minutes 45 seconds. But hey, you gotta promote the channel any way you can. Brooklyn Dodgers of about the 40s or the 50s. There's Duke Snider over on the left, and I don't recognize the other two, but I recognize the Duke, the Lord of Flatbush. So we're gonna start off doing. We're gonna do Minnesota and Boston because this was the NBC Game of the Week on May 1st, 1971. And then we'll do a game from May 2nd and a game from May 3rd. And then we'll get on out of here. The game I probably will do on May the 2nd. As I look at things now, might do Dodgers Braves. Thinking about doing Dodgers Braves. And then we only got two games to choose from on May the 3rd, which I'll probably do Cubs Mets. We'll go through some recent headlines. We'll go through the standings, go through the statistical leaders of the major leagues. By the way, tonight in real time, it's the Rays and the Orioles in Baltimore, and a critical playoff game already for the Lightning and Panthers series, considering the Lightning won their game in South Florida. Sunrise, actually. It's like Broward County. So we're down to 2 minutes and 8 seconds. I used to, when I started, I did live games for a little bit of a stretch in the fall of last year, 2020, and I would do like about a 10-minute talk up. People would talk to me before I started the show. Luke Brown would come in and talk to me. He's on here as Poopy Face McButt Pants or Poopy Butt McFace Pants or whatever he calls himself. God bless him. 100 seconds to go. Was watching a brief documentary before coming on live about the super fight between Rocky Marciano and Muhammad Ali that was done on the computer. Well, as far as computers went back in the late 60s, and they shot 13 different finishes of the fight, and in some Marciano won, and in some Ali won. So interesting little sequences. Of course, nowadays you got Glory Days Boxing, which is a card game I play on the YouTube channel on Friday nights, and one day I might have Marciano face Ali. 55 seconds left to go. Feel like I'm the commentator on a shuttle launch, or of course nowadays it's the SpaceX launches. 40 seconds to go, or, Dick Clark used to do this on New Year's Eve. Who did the New Year's countdowns before Dick Clark? A guy by the name of Ben Grauer, who was a mainstay on NBC's coverage of the New Year's ball drop, and then later CBS's in the 70s. And then he passed away in the 70s, and it was Dick Clark for a long time, and then it's now Ryan Seacrest. Okay, 15 seconds left to go. Stand by, everybody. Hello again, everybody. This is Big Polly coming to you with our third episode of Random Acts of OOTP. We're going to continue on with the 1971 season that I have been doing. and play some games starting with May 1st, May 2nd, May 3rd. And then when I come back next week, we'll do the June games and then the July games and do the All-Star game. Take up one part of this, and then do games from August, September. Probably do the last few games of the regular season in a part, then do the playoffs, and then do the World Series. So with that, let's get to it. Here are your standings going into May 1st. Washington, a half game ahead of Baltimore in the American League East right now, 13-9 to 12-9. Yankees not too far behind at 10-9. The Twins over Oakland. Actually, they are even, but the Twins are ahead on the winning percentage. The Mets over the Expos by a half a game in the National League East, and the Giants leading the Astros by a game in the Western Division of the National League. So we'll take a look at a few headlines. We'll start on the bottom right and work our way up to the top left. Now, Stoudemire had a great game against the White Sox, 8-0 shutout win. The same day, John Curtis threw a shutout against Milwaukee, 1-0. Then the Expos and Bill Stoneman, same day, the 27th, they shut out the Cubs, 4-0. Billy Canigliaro hit 3 home runs in a game against the Milwaukee Brewers. Chuck Dobson shut out Baltimore in a game. So did Fritz Peterson. He threw a shutout the Yankees over the Brewers yesterday, or the day before I start this sim, the 30th. Ken Holtzman, a shutout over the Phillies. And they gave out some hardware because we had ended up the month of April. Boog Powell was named the best batter in the American League. Willie McCovey, likewise in the National League. Burt Hooten, the best pitcher. Don Wilson got the best honors in the National League. Ray Corbin, the best rookie. Burt Hooten won the rookie honors for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Let's show you the combined stats of the major leagues and show you who is ahead and who is behind. Actually, we're going to combine the leagues and show you who's doing the best. Felix Milan, a .382 average. He plays for the Atlanta Braves. Hank Aaron with 9 homers. Willie McCovey also tied with him at 9. Boog Powell, 24 ribbies. He's leading on that category. Willie McCovey, .474. On base percentage, Willie McCovey also leading at .769. In slugging and on base plus slugging, he is lights out right now at 1.243. Leading in WAR, 2.1. Tito Fuentes of the Giants, the most at bats at 105. Nate Colbert has the most hits, 31. Willie McCovey, 20 runs. Jim Ray Hart of the Giants, 9 doubles. Roger Metzger of the Astros, 5 triples. 60 stolen bases for McCovey. McCovey leading in a lot of these categories. Pat Kelly, 10 stolen bases, leading everybody. Bobby Bonds right behind, along with Joe Foy and Amos Otis. Bert Campaneris caught stealing 8 times. Reggie Jackson has struck out 27 times. Harman Killebrew, 21 walks. 7 sacrifice hits for Bill Singer to lead everybody. He's with pitcher for the Dodgers. Joe Morgan, 6 sac flies. 13 extra base hits for Willie McCovey again. He's also leading in isolated power at 397. His OPS plus 271 is also leading. The WPA of Hank Aaron's is best right now. Win probability added, 179. And the weighted on-base average, Willie McCovey again, leading at 533. We'll take a look at the pitching leaders real fast, and then we will get to our games. Ray Culp of the Boston Red Sox, a .91 ERA. He's leading. Don Wilson, 5 wins. He's leading in that category. Pat Jarvis all alone with 5 losses. Tug McGraw, 6 saves. He's leading in that category. In pitching war, it's Steve Carlton right now leading with 1.9. Phil Niekro has pitched the most innings at 49 innings. Steve Carlton, 4 complete games, along with Wilbur Wood of the White Sox leading there. Ken Holtzman and Roberts of San Diego, Dave Roberts, 2 shutouts. Boy, you don't see a shutout anymore these days in Major League Baseball. Vida Blue leading by one over Tom Seaver of the Mets with 42 strikeouts. Joe Coleman leading in a dubious category, 26 walks. Fritz Peterson, 6 Ks per walk. That's the lead. That's the lead in the major leagues there. Strikeouts per 9. Tom Seaver leading at 9.3. Jim Lonborg, the fewest walks per 9 innings at .9. He's also allowed 8 home runs, which is better than anybody right now, but that's one of those dubious categories where you don't want to be ahead. The whip leader is Vida Blue at .77. Stan Banson right behind him with the Yankees at .87. Steve Carlton, 1.38 fielding independent pitching. That's the leader in that category over Tom Seaver. ERA plus, it's Culp of Boston, 3.59 ERA. There's no point in that. Runs allowed 9 minus WAR. Ken Holtzman leading at 2.1. Batting average for balls in play, Joe Niekro leading at 1.79. Vida Blue, the leader in opponents' batting averages at 144. The WINP, which I think is win percentage, goes to Burt Blyleven, but we have a whole bunch of men tied in the lead there. Joe Grisenda with 9 shutdowns. He's leading that. George Culver, 2 holds, but we have a lot of players at 2 holds. Quality starts. Bosman, Singer, and Wilson are the leaders at 6. So that gets us to the games for today. We're going to go with the NBC Game of the Week, or one of the 2 NBC Games of the Week. This was the Kurt Gowdy, Tony Kubek game, Minnesota and Boston. So we'll take a look at that first, our first of our 3 games that we're going to show you this evening. It is 50 degrees and cloudy at Boston, Fenway Park, 18,985 in attendance on a cloudy day. And here's your starting lineup for the Twins. Adams in center, Carew at second base, Rico Carty left field, Killebrew first base, Tony Oliva in right, Leo Cardenas at shortstop, Steve Braun will play third, George Mitterwald at catcher, Burt Blyleven will be the pitcher, 4-0 with a 1.81 ERA. For the Red Sox, Scott at first leads off. Billy Calingiero is your catcher. Carl Yastrzemski, Yaz in left. Joe LaHoud in right. Rico Petrocelli, your third baseman. Dwayne Josephson catching. Aparicio at shortstop. Juan Beniquez second base. And Ray Culp will be your pitcher. So it should be a good pitcher's duel. Got a couple of good pitchers. As we take a gaze at beautiful Fenway Park in Boston, Massachusetts, and you see it there before you, or how it looked in 1970. You'll note that I'm using pictures for the players, and the ball size, as you see it fly through the air as the ball is put into action, will be larger. So we got Adams leading off for the Twins. Good battle here of 2 of the American League teams close to the lead. Boston is not too far behind. Culp 3-1. And here's the pitch. Ball 4, Adams aboard with a base on balls. As you see the roof of Fenway Park relevant. See if we can get a better view of the action. I'm going to go into view. I'm going to go, initial camera is the default camera. And we are going to use action camera will be wide low. We'll try that. Here's Carew with a runner on. And that's flubbed by the shortstop. Everybody's safe and everybody moves up 90 feet. So the Twins with a scoring threat here in the top of the first. 2 on, nobody out for Rico Carty, who's 342 on the year. Hasn't hit too many homers. He's more of a contact guy. 1 homer, 11 ribbies, and his OPS at 897. So far with runners in scoring position, he's 7 for 14. And that's going to get by everybody, I think, a base hit. And everybody's going to advance 90 feet and no more, so the bases will be loaded. Did not want to run Adams from second to home there. They're just going to hold him up because his speed rating's only 54. So now you got the killer up, Harman Killebrew, 7 home runs, only a 205 batting average, but that OPS, 872. So Culp in a jam to start the game. And it's a strikeout. If this was bases loaded, the umpire would be going, "You bum!" Everybody remember bases loaded? Tony Oliva up as the Twins try to score here in the first. And that was smacked good, but no, it got by the center fielder, so a lot of running to be done. And it's going to be 2 runs or 3. Out! So 2 runs score, but that's all. They were going for the 3-run double, couldn't get it. Leo Cardenas up for the Twins. And Boston's going to get out of this, only giving up 2. Killebrew strikeout, an out at home plate, and then a pop-up to the first baseman. 2 runs, 2 hits, 1 error by Boston. We go to the bottom of the first, 2-0. George Scott up for the Boston Red Sox. I could not find his picture. I could probably rummage through his. Let's just see if I can do it right now. In fact, George Scott. We're going to go. I may not be able to do this at this moment. I probably won't. Let's just go back to the game. I don't have his picture up, but don't need all the pictures to be up. Here's Scott facing Blyleven as the play-by-play on the top right of your screen goes through his credentials. That's Blyleven's. Right fielder has it, which is Oliva, and that is 1 out in the Boston first. Billy Canigliaro coming up. 4 homers, 250 on the year in terms of batting average. In real life, he was 262, 11 homers, and 33 ribbies. See what he can do. That seemed to have jammed off of Canigliaro's bat, and Oliva has his second putout. Back-to-back putouts for him to start the game. Here's Yaz, 266 last year. In real life, 1970, he hit 329, 40 homers, and 102 ribbies. The pitch to him. Popped up to the catcher. The catcher moseys on over and makes the putout. Nothing across for Boston. We'll go to the second. It's 2-0 Minnesota. Steve Braun, as we're now already down to the 7-hitter for the Twins. Base is empty. He's 217. He's hitting 239 on the season so far. This is May 1st, 1971, and he hits this a ton. And it's gone. A home run for Steve Braun. 3-0 Minnesota. That looked like it was a borderline situation of whether or not the right fielder could get to it. He could not. And we didn't have a home run in any of our games last week. And it only took us to the second inning to get one here. 3-0. Here's George Mitterwald. Second homer of the year for Braun, a left-handed hitter. And he held up all 4. So Blyleven comes to the plate. Remember, this is 1971. The designated hitter for the American League did not come into play until 1973, so he'll likely bunt here. He does. Down the third base line. It's going to be a tough play. They'll get Blyleven at first, but that's all they could get. Nice sacrifice hit for him, moving Mitterwald, the catcher, to second. We go back to the top of the order, and Mike R. Adams, grounded to the shortstop over to first. 2 outs, and Mitterwald has now made it to third base. So he scores on a wild pitch or an error or anything to that extent. Rod Carew, 315 on the year. Hitting lights out away from home, 362. Sharply hit to the first baseman, Scott, over to the pitcher covering. Side retired for Minnesota. So The home run by Braun was all the scoring they get in the top of the second. It's 3-0 in favor of the Twins. Lahoud coming up, or Lahoud. He's the right fielder. And first pitch, he's hitting 200. Not the best of hitters. We'll see what he can do here. That's popped up. Going to get close to the monster. Looked like it bounced off the wall, but no, Carty did make the play. Carty did make the play a few feet in front of that scoreboard, that legendary scoreboard in left field on the bottom part of the Green Monster. Petrocelli up. He's the 5-hitter, third baseman. He struck out. As they throw it around the infield, we'll go to Dwayne Josephson. 339 on the year. With bases empty, he's hitting .364. So not a bad hitter to have in your arsenal. Jammed this to right, a base hit. Of course, this was around the time that the Fenway Park was being used for football too. The Boston Patriots, forerunners of the New England Patriots, would play their games there for a bit in the 60s before moving to Harvard Stadium and eventually their own stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts. Luis Aparicio up, the shortstop. Strike 3 called, and that is it for Boston in the second. We go to the third. It's 3-0 Twins. Rico Carty up now. Culp. Can't find the strike zone. That is ball 4. So with one on and nobody out, it's Harman Killebrew again. To this point in his career, he had hit 494 home runs. Or this could be his... I think this would be his career overall. Let's take a look at Killebrew just to be sure, because we have a point of debate here. Yeah, including this season, he has hit 494 home runs, so he is 6 shy of the 500 mark at this juncture. So Killebrew looking for 495, and I don't mean a highway in South Florida. Grounder to third, over to second for 1. No play. No play as the second baseman got upended by the slide, I was thinking. So it's just a force at second, and that's it. Tony Oliva up, and he's another guy who can mash. But he's much better known as a contact hitter. 311 on his career, only 155 home runs. We'll see what happens. That sounded good off the bat, a base hit to right. So, in fact, the runner's going to third. Safe. That, I believe, was Killebrew going from first to third. Leo Cardenas now up for the Twins. Culp having a real bad start here. 57 pitches, and he's not out of the third. So far in the game, 2 1/3, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, and 1 strikeout. So it might be an early day for him. Minnesota in prime position to get a few more runs here, maybe 1. Strike 3, so that's going to limit the options here for the Twins. They're going to have to come through here with Steve Braun, who hit a home run his last time up. He's 1 for 1 against Culp, although that was the only time he has ever faced him. And that sounded good off the bat. That's going to drop. A base hit. 1 run will score. They're going to send in the second runner, and that's a score. Killebrew and Oliva each score 5-0 Minnesota. By the way, we have a rule that if we get to the 6th inning and it's a 5-run game or more, we will switch to another game. So Mitterwald, in fact, we implemented that the last game we did last week. Mitterwald facing Braun. Grounder to second, over to first. They get the third out, but Minnesota doing damage every time they're at the plate. 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the third, and they lead 5-0 over the Red Sox. Might go to what the backup game on NBC was, the Yankees and the Brewers, so we might go to that before too long. Blyleven now facing Juan Beniquez at second base. Then the pitcher spot comes up, And if you're Boston, are you thinking maybe putting a pinch hitter in here? We'll see. Beniquez looks at the Blyleven pitch. It's a strikeout. And Blyleven has spanned 3 in the game. Culp is going to stay in and hit. So far this season, Blyleven 10 walks and 37 strikeouts. He's got 3 Ks today. So it's the pitchers facing each other. That's a strikeout. He's up to 4 Ks. As Blyleven Ks Culp, and we'll go back to the top of the order and George Scott. Grounder to the shortstop. It's a slow grounder over to first in time. And Boston is out in order in the third. We go to the fourth. 5-0 Minnesota. So we might have bonus coverage for you if this 5-0 score holds up. If it's 5 runs or more, a margin, and we go through 5 innings, or the half inning where a 5-run margin has occurred, or the full inning where a 5-run margin emerges, we'll go to another game. Blyleven now facing Culp. Blyleven hitting. And this is skied to center, and it's got some carry on it, but it is caught by Billy Glinigliero. 1 out in the fourth, Mike Adams, who isn't a health ranger. Grounder to the second baseman, over to first. Hey, I know a few things. And that's a grounder shortstop to first for the out. 6-3. Here's Carew. See if Minnesota has their first scoreless inning, and they do. So 1-2-3-0 across for the Twins. Now, can Boston get something going? They got the heart of their order coming up, the 2, 3, and 4 hitters at least. But they got work to do, trailing by 5. Here is Billy Conigliaro. In innings 4 to 6, he's had 17 at-bats, and he's hitting .294 with 2 homers. This is grounded. That was a line drive right to the third baseman. A fine play for Braun. Braun doing it offensively and defensively so far today with the home run in the second. And now that little stab there in the fourth. Here's Yaz. Hit the center. Did it get that far? Yes, it did. And Adams making the putout. For the Twins, here's Joe LaHoud. Grounder, stabbed by the second shortstop, but it was a slow one. He hesitated, made the throw to first, got the out, as Yaz is a bit of a slow runner. So a 1-2-3 inning for Boston. We go to the top of the fifth, and it's 5-0 in favor of the Twins. Here's Rico Carty, good contact hitter. Culp. Grounded to the shortstop, got past him to the left a little bit, and that's a base hit, and Carty is on board with a single. Harman Killebrew now at the Mendoza line of 200. Against righties this season, he's at 167, and Culp, of course, is a righty. So let's go with him. And that's a base hit, so that's going to improve his batting average. And Carty makes it to third. Safe, so he goes first to third. You know, I'd love to see a statistic someday of successful executions of a runner going from first to third. Like a percentage, like how many times can they do it safely, how many times do they get thrown out. I'd love to see a little study of that. I'd love to see a little statistical breakdown on all the players in the major leagues. Carty had 5 speed, so the odds weren't with him that he would make it to third base, but yet he did. Tony Oliva now up, 2 on, nobody out. Here's Culp, who's having a bad day, and it just got worse, as that's right down the right field line for a base hit. This will score 1 run at least, and make that 2 as Oliva doubles. Nope. Let's double check that. There was a double on the play, but an error allowed Oliva to move to third, so both runners on base scored, and it's 7-0. So tell NBC we're probably going to be switching to the Yankee game after 5 innings. Here is Leo Cardenas. Ball 4. So Minnesota just pouring it on here. Ray Culp's still in there, and he's looking at Steve Braun, who homered the first time these two met. So will Braun have the Braun to belt another one out? Base hit over the middle. It's going to be 8-0 at least. As Braun and the conga line continues for the Twins. 3 runs in the 5th. They lead 8-0. And finally, Boston has seen enough and they're putting a reliever in. Here's Ken Tatum. So far in the year for him, 7 1/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 3 Ks. Average ability in all categories, stuff, movement, and control. But Boston needs to stop the bleeding here. And here's Middlewald, the catcher. Nobody out still in the Minnesota 5th, and they have put 3 up already. That's a strikeout. Blyleven comes up. You know he'll be bunting. No, he hits away. Grounded to the shortstop. Over to the second for 1. But that's all they get. Throw was off target, and everybody was safe on that. Everybody was safe, so Blyleven makes it on base via the error. That's the second error of the game for Boston. A very ugly line score right now, 0-1-2. Adams up again for Minnesota. Grounded third, over to second for 1, over to first, double play. And Boston mercifully gets out of the inning without more damage being done, but Minnesota putting up 3, and we go to the bottom of the 5th. It's 8-0 Minnesota. Stand by. We may be going after this half inning is complete to New York for the game between the Brewers and the Yankees. Petrocelli up, unless Boston can get 4 runs. This is hit well to left. It's out of here, over the monster. A home run for Petrocelli, and that was over by quite a lot. And they cut the deficit now to 8-1. Third homer of the year for Petrocelli. They call that a 375-foot homer. Yeah, it cleared the screen in left field, so that was a good shot there for Petrocelli. Josephson, probably the best hitter Boston has right now at 349, and a couple of homers. Grounder, short second baseman over to first, and there's 1 out. We go now to Louis Aparicio. That's right to the first baseman. Nice play. Killebrew caught that like a can of corn. And now we go to Juan Beniquez. Grounded to third, a slow one. And the third baseman just says, I'm going to eat this ball. Beniquez a little too speedy, and he beats out a single. Ken Tatum, the pitcher who relieved Ray Culp, now in the game to hit. Wild pitch, that's going to move the runner to second at least. And it does. Blyleven facing Tatum now. Tatum hits it well. We've already had 1 pitcher hit a home run. That's right, we had Peters hit a home run in the first week, so I was mistaken. So, 8-1, and we are going to switch to other action. Save game and leave. And we are going to take you to the 6th inning in Yankee Stadium. And we'll tell you what's been happening there. The Brewers and the Yankees from beautiful Yankee Stadium. We'll go through the lineups real quick. It is 2-0 Yankees batting in the 6th. We're in the bottom of the 6th. May at center field, Harper at third, Hegan first base, Wicker shortstop, Mitchell in right, Ellie Rodriguez catching, Walton at left, Kubiak at second base, Skip Lockwood the pitcher. Of course, this is a couple of years removed from when the Milwaukee Brewers were the Seattle Pilots, only lasting 1 season. And if you ever read Ball 4 by Jim Bouton, that's a hell of a book covering baseball's very brief sojourn to Seattle. Only lasted a year, and then they moved to Milwaukee and played there. Have been playing there since 1970. They started playing at the old Milwaukee County Stadium. As I set the views up. Okay. And for the Yankees, the lineup was Roy White, left field, Carson, shortstop, Mercer, catching center field. And that's what we're going to see first. Ron Blumberg, no relation, right field. Tony Munson, not Tony Munson, but Thurman Munson. He's catching. Clark at second base, Cater at first, Jerry Kenny at third, and Klein is the pitcher. And right now, Lockwood still in the game. So this is 2 outs, bottom of the 6th. Really picking up the game in action. So it's Lockwood against Mercer as we begin. Will we begin? Yes, we will. I was thinking the game crashed on me. Mercer with a base hit to left center. Not to left center, but to left field. Ron Blomberg, who would be the first designated hitter in American League history in a couple of years, he's up. Whooping a blast, and the Yankees will tie this game. Stolen base for Bobby Mercer. That's his second of the day. You can see this is old Yankee Stadium before the refurbishment in 1976. And if you look real close, you could see the monuments in left center field. They are in play in this incarnation of Yankee Stadium. Ron Blumberg grounded to the first baseman. Takes it unassisted. And we'll go to the 7th inning as we have joined this game in progress. 2-0 in favor of the Milwaukee Brewers, represented on their graphic by ML4, the 4th incarnation of a Milwaukee Major League franchise, is what the Milwaukee Brewers were. Kubiak, 286 hitter, 243 lifetime, is facing Steve Klein. Klein has gone 6 innings, has given up 2 earned runs and 5 hits. Kubiak lofts this one to left, caught by Roy White. Skip Lockwood coming into the game to hit. He is the pitcher for Milwaukee. That's a base hit. Just goes over the second baseman's head. In there for a single is Lockwood. Speed is not good. Dave May at left field. Real life, he hit 277, 16 homers and 65 ribbies. So far, he's 276, no homers and 6 ribbies in this season. Simulated season of 71. Popped up to the third baseman, which is Kenny. He makes the grab. By the way, our condolences to the family of Rennie Stennett, who in real life passed away recently, like in the last day or two. Of course, he was a big force to be reckoned with on those 70s Pirates teams. I believe he once had 7 hits in a game against the Cubs sometime in the 70s. Tommy Harper, third base, facing Klein now. Harper, a smash to third, over to first. And 7th inning stretch time coming up. Well, I told you. And the crowd chanting, "Let's go, let's go." Thurman Munson up. 250 from the 7th to 9th innings. Hitting 232 to start the 71 season. Lockwood is still in there. He fires. And that's good for a base hit to right. As you see the old scoreboard in right field that was famous for holding the score of the 1958 NFL Championship game, showing that the score was tied after 4 quarters, and that was the first ever sudden death overtime game in NFL history that counted for anything. Horace Clark, the second baseman, the 6-hitter, he's hitting 257. At home, he's hitting 341. That's a base hit to right, so they're working Lockwood here. Munson's going to go for third. He is safe. So Joe Pactwa coming in as a pinch hitter, Pactwa, 400 on the year, but he has only had 5 at-bats. 4 at-bats. No, 5 at-bats. I was right. 4 of them came in the 7th and 9th innings. where he's hitting .500, so he's a good pinch hitter. Base hit, and it's no longer a shutout for Skip Lockwood. 2-1 is now your score. Jerry Kenney stepping in. He's the third baseman. Skip Lockwood still in the game, but that would be the want of the managers in the 70s. Keep your good pitcher in there. Don't go to your relievers until you have to. Kenney has 46 contact, a 24 power hitter, so don't expect a home run out of him. Little chopper to third, almost looked like a bunt. They get the runner at first, but everybody moves up 90 feet. Steve Klein stays in, and he will hit, even though he's trailing 2-1 right now. Interesting decision here. Drawn in infield, a base hit. The pitcher ties the game. In fact, here comes the go-ahead run. It's safe. Klein with a base hit, and it's 3-2. Oh, that's why you leave your pitcher in. Roy White, as the Yankees go to the top of the order, now batting with one out in the bottom of the seventh. Over to second, over to first. No, not over the first. Just getting the force at second. Roy White will now be the first baseman, be at first base. Carson going for the steal of second, and he's in there, safe. That's the fifth stolen base for Roy White. So again, they'll work to Carson. Hit to left. And caught by the left fielder, Walton. 3 runs come across for the Yankees in the 7th, and they now lead over Milwaukee. 3-2. So now you got Lindy McDaniel, who has come in the game for the Yankees, so they decided to go with a reliever after all. He's facing Mike Hegan. Let's take a look at the lineup for the Yankees and see if it has changed. White still in left, Mercer still in center. Blomberg still at right. Kenny, Carson, Clark, and Tony, I believe Tony Saleta is the new entry at first base. So McDaniel facing Hegan. McDaniel, a well-known reliever of the time. We'll give you his stats, 71 season, in just a moment. It is Mercer camping in that catch at center field, and there's one gone in the Milwaukee 8th. McDaniel, 8 2/3 innings pitched, just including this last out. 9 hits, 2 runs earned, 4 Ks. Good control, 71 overall, 69 against the left-handed hitter, which you see right now in Floyd Wicker, who plays shortstop. And that's a grounder to the shortstop, over to first, and there's 2 gone. That was Carson to Saleta. In real life, the Rays are having a big inning. They have already put 6 up in the game with Baltimore, and they're only in the 2nd inning. Bobby Mitchell, the new hitter. Grounder just to the left of the shortstop for a base hit. So Bobby Mitchell on board. Ellie Rodriguez only hitting .152. First pitch, though, he is 3 for 9, 333. So maybe he should swing on the first pitch here. So Mitchell at first. See if Milwaukee can get a 2-out rally going. Grounder to the shortstop. They get the force at second, and the Yankees get Milwaukee out of a jam in the 8th. Nothing across. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It's 3-2. Bobby Mercer now up for the Yankees. He plays center, 338 on the year. Ball 4. So you got 2 for the price of 1 in this first game. The Minnesota game was a blowout, so we went to New York. And we'll do the recaps, and then we'll show you our second game of 3. Blomberg, 298 on the year. If we runner at first, he's hitting .636. Pitch out to try to get the runner coming in from first, and they get him. Rodriguez, 7 of 24 in terms of Players caught stealing. So Blomberg now in with nobody on. He hits a nice little single to the right side of center field. Just got by the second baseman on the left side. Thurman Munson hitting 243 now. At home, he hits 277. And will that get in? It is a base hit. Blomberg goes to second as they had to hesitate and see how the flight of the ball, whether or not it was going to be caught or whether it was going to be a hit. It was a hit. Morris now up in relief for the Brewers, and he's got god-awful numbers. 6 1/3 innings pitched. He's given up 11 runs, an ERA of 15.63, and he surrendered 13 hits, and it looks like he has very average ability. He's facing Horace Clarke with 1 out. Clarke rips it center field, a base hit. And Blomberg's going to hold up at third. Bases are going to be loaded. For Tony Saleta, he's no stranger to hitting it out. 65 power overall, 58 against lefties, but he's 0 for 3 so far in 71. That's strike 3, 2 outs. Milwaukee only needs 1 more. Here's Kenny at third base. Grounded to the first baseman. He goes to the bag. And the Yankees do not get anything with the bases loaded. We go to the 9th, a 3-2 Yankee game. So McDaniel's going to try to close the door here. He's got Walton, Kubiak, and the pitcher spot up, Morris. I doubt we will see him. That's hit in the air. Center field, it's going to drop between the second baseman and the center fielder for a base hit. Walton on board with a single. They will keep him in the game. They're not going to bring in a pinch hitter or anything like that. Kubiak now up at second base. Strike 3 and 1 out. Al Yates. Yates will be the pinch hitter for Milwaukee. 300. Away from home, he's hitting .429. Which means he's 3 for 7, and that's a walk. So Milwaukee now, a base hit may bring in a tying run. Dave May up. He's hitting .275. At scoring position, he's hitting .278. McDaniel now up to 28 pitches, so maybe he's getting tired. That's hit well to center, but Mercer should get underneath it, and he does. Runner at second was thinking about moving to third, but a nice throw by Mercer probably changes those plans. And we got Tommy Harper, the last chance for the Brewers in this game with a 3-2 deficit. Oh, this could be trouble. No, the shortstop gets to it. Carson. And that's your game. 3-2. Yankees over the Brewers. They didn't need Karnak on that. That's what I was trying to think of. Karnak the Magnificent. Simsalabim. Player of the game was Steve Klein. Klein got the win. McDaniel got the save. Lockwood got the loss. And we'll recap what happened in the games. So the game we left was the Twins and the Red Sox. Twins won 8-5. Blyleven over Culp. Oliva was the player of the game. You just saw the finish of the Yankees and the Brewers. Yankees winning 3-2. Klein over Lockwood. McDaniel saving. Klein got the base hit that brought in the tying and winning runs for the Yankees. Baltimore over Kansas City, 4-1. McNally over Drago. Rickert got the save. McNally was the player of the game. In the Minnesota game, Braun, the homer that you saw, Aparicio, you saw that, and Rico Petrocelli all homered. Cleveland and Oakland. Oakland prevailed 4-3, a homer by Sal Bando. Fingers over Lamb, and Segui was the player of the game there. Chicago and Washington. Chicago wins 8-4. Melton and Reichart homered. Johnson over Broberg. Romo with the save, and Reichart was the player of the game. Detroit over California 9-3. Zepp over Reberger. Lolik was the player of the game. McMullen homered for the Angels. In the National League, in 11, it was Pittsburgh 11-7 over San Diego. Stargell and Zisk all hit homers for in that game. Keeson over Phoebus, and Clemente was player of the game. Milt Pappas had a great game. Billy Williams homered, and the Cubs shut out the Phillies 2-0. Phillies have gotten off to a very slow start at 5-16 on the year. So 2-0 score, Pappas and Wise. Pappas over Wise. Montreal and St. Louis, it was Montreal prevailing 8-2. Ribont over Gibson. Bailey, player of the game. It was Bailey and Holler homering. In hot Atlanta, the Braves over the Dodgers 9-3. Reed over Muller. Orlando Cepeda hit a home run, and so did Evans. We had one rain out, San Francisco and Cincinnati, and in the last game of the day, it was the Mets and the Astros, and the Mets prevailed in 10, 2-1. McGraw over Gladding. Matlack got the save. Seaver was player of the game. So let's move on to May 2nd of 1971, and we'll go to Atlanta for a game between the Dodgers and the Braves. It's Don Black and Decker Sutton against Pac Jarvis. We'll set the lineups for you. For the Dodgers, who we saw earlier, we saw them last week in a game where they were blowing out San Diego when we switched to another game there, which was a game St. Louis was involved in. I know it was St. Louis and Houston. Wills is at shortstop. He'll bat first. Wes Parker, first base. Willie Davis, center field. Dick Allen in right. Willy Crawford at left field. Bally Valentine at second base. Duke Sims at catcher. Ron Say at third. Don Sutton pitching so far. 3-2 at 2.79 ERA and a whip of 122. For the Braves, Ralph Garr at left field. Darrell Evans at third. Hank Aaron at right. Orlando Cepeda at first base. Mike Lum at center field. Felix Milan, second base. Hal King catching. Sonny Jackson, shortstop. Pat Jarvis, a 7.89 god-awful ERA, 0-5, and his whip miserable 1.92. So we had Atlanta in our previous broadcast of the 71. They opened the season against Cincinnati, and there you get a look at Fulton County Stadium, the first ever stadium I went to. And we will start this game. Fulton County Stadium was not too far away from Turner Field, right next door to each other. When I went to my first Major League game in 1996, and they had already built the Olympic Stadium, which became Turner Field, and after they used it for the Olympics, they used it for the Braves. And they're now using it for Georgia State. You see the 715s in the outfield. This is kind of like a recreation of Fulton County Stadium, I guess in 74, because when Hank Aaron hit the record home run in April of 74, that's what they flashed, 715. They made a nice little calligraphy of eights, and all these eights together formed a bigger number, 715, when he beat Babe Ruth for the all-time home run career lead. So Maury Willis up, and we'll get this game started and stop blabbering. Play one more game after this, which I think will be at Shea. And it's a Monday game, so not too much action on the docket. Over to first, Cepeda goes to the bag unassisted, one gone. In the first, Wes Parker, 68 contact hitter, good hitter. Knew Dr. Gene Scottwell, the televangelist, who had his own satellite channel. My family got a satellite dish in the late 80s with my financial backing. And they had clips of him on all day and all night, Dr. Gene Scott. Of course, Dr. Gene Scott's no longer around. Look him up on YouTube. There's a documentary on him that's quite good. Willie Davis, number 3 hitter for LA, to left field and caught by Gar. So 1-2-3 inning to start it for the Dodgers. No score. Ralph Gar facing Don Black and Decker Sutton. And career-wise, at this point in his career, Gar is hitting 280. Guess he would go on and play for the Sox of Chicago with that hat of his. And Gar beats out a little tricky situation there at first base. Parker had to go kind of out of his range and hope Sutton would cover, but he could not successfully. And Gar is on board with a single, infield single. That's what they're going to rule it. Darrell Evans up, 273 on the year. At home, he's 304. Bunt. And he missed it. Corners playing in, Say and Parker. They do not bunt again. Gar is out. Duke Sims with the snipe. And now it's nobody on for Darrell Evans. And strike 3. So Atlanta goes from a runner at first to nobody on and 2 outs for Hanmer and Hank. And we should update how many home runs Hank Aaron has at this point of his career at 71, because he would break the home run record. And we'll look at Hank Aaron right now. His batting stats have him at 632. He has hit 9 home runs in 71. In fact, you saw the statistical study earlier in the game, and he's leading Major League Baseball now with 9 home runs. Dick Allen up for the Dodgers. Hit to right and right to Aaron. 1 out. Willy Crawford. Over to first. Parker. I'm sorry, not Parker, but Cepeda. Parker is the first baseman for LA. We're past the 1 hour mark. You are joining Random Acts of OOTP. This is the third part of the series. May of 71. I'm Big Paulie coming to you. Bobby Valentine, the new hitter for LA. Here's the pitch to him. Of course, Valentine would go on and become a very successful manager. Caught by the center fielder Lum, and that is 3 outs. So LA doesn't get anything in their second. We go to the bottom of the second. No score. Orlando Cepeda, 3 homers on the year, 242. In the first 3 innings, he's been cold, 217. So see what happens here. The pitch, Sutton to Cepeda. Skied the right. No, it's going to be caught by the shortstop Valentine. Not the shortstop, but the second baseman. 1 out for Lum, only hitting 164 on the year. To third base, Say to Parker, 2 outs. Felix Milan at second base, he's 392 on the year. At home, he's lights out, 481. That's a base hit to right field. Right, knew where to place that, and Milan aboard. Hal King, 353, 462 against righties so far in the year. Strike 3. And that shuts Atlanta down in the second, so they can't take advantage of the Milan base hit. After 2, no score. LA yet to get a hit. Pat Jarvis facing Duke Sims, 191 so far on the year. Career-wise, he's 234. The pitch, sharply hit for a base hit, and Sims is aboard. That brings up the Penguin, Ron Say, 0 for 7 in his career at this point, so he's a rookie here in 71. Another base hit. Just got to the right side of the shortstop. They'll try to play at third, safe. Sims got in there in time. And it's runners at the corners for Don Sutton. Now Sutton here, He's been in a little bit of a bind because he's got that runner at third. Sutton as a hitter, 250. Hit 155 last season, the 1970 season. He bunts. Right back to the pitcher. Goes to first. Second baseman was covering. And that moves runners to second and third with one out for Maury Wills. Wills, 283 in his career, but only hitting 188 this season, the 71 season. Skied to left. Caught by the left fielder for the out, and it was so shallow that the runner at third could not move. This brings up Wes Parker again. Parker not a bad hitter at all. Smash to right, base hit. They get one run in, but Say was a dead duck coming into home. So they only get one run. And we go to the Atlanta third with a 1-0 deficit for the Braves. Sonny Jackson at shortstop, 211 against righties and 227 overall. Grounder, this is going to be slow and it could be trouble, but the pitcher, Sutton, picks it up in time, throws the first for the out. That brings up Pat Jarvis to hit, a 20 power hitter, but only 7 contact. Jarvis hit to the shortstop over the first, 2 outs. Do one more game after this, which I believe will involve I think it's going to be the Cubs and the Mets. Ralph Gorup back to the leadoff spot for the Braves. Skied let's see, will it be right fielder? Not Aaron, but Allen making the put out. And we're through three, and it's 1-0, Dodgers leading. Willie Davis, the new hitter for the Dodgers. Davis hits this a ton in the left center field. It does not fall for a home run, but Davis is motoring around the bases. He goes to third easily with a triple. So with a runner at third, it's Dick Allen. Dick Allen, 287 on the year. And with runners at scoring position, he's hitting 350 with 2 home runs. He's hit 6 so far for the Dodgers. That's hit well to center. How well? Lum makes the put out, but it's going to be an easy run for the Dodgers. Easy as you please. Davis gets in. 2-0, Dodgers leading. Willy Crawford now digging in for the Dodgers. He's the left fielder, 5 hitter, 256. 308 when he sees the first pitch and likes it. Ball 4. Willy Crawford on first base. He's a 67 steal rating, and Bobby Valentine up with his 57 contact rating. That's hit well. Right field, base hit. Hits the wall. Aaron retrieves it. And that's another run scored. No, it is not. He is out. He was out trying to go from first to home, but Valentine in with the double. 2-0, Atlanta leading. And Duke Sims now coming to the plate with 2 outs. Skied, looking like the third baseman will get to it. Evans, he does. Into 3.5, 2-0, Dodgers over the Braves. Darrell Evans, the Atlanta hitter, 270 on the year. He's hitting 277 in his career. Pitch from Sutton. Sharply hit to left field, and it drops in for a hit. So Evans aboard for Hammer and Hank, looking for another home run to his career total that is quite impressive. Strike 3, they get Aaron. Sutton gets Aaron. Sutton, 4 strikeouts, so he's now at 9 walks and 38 Ks for the season, 42 innings pitched. Cepeda could tie it with a swing, but he won't. They go 3-6 on the putout, and there's now 2 outs with the force at second. Mike Lum 291 last year. No, 254 last year, only hitting 162 this year. A stolen base attempt. Safe is Cepeda. That's his first SB of the year. So now Lum with a base hit could make it 2-1. Grounded to first baseman Parker. He throws to Sutton, and this time they do make the putout. So the Braves scoreless in the fourth. The Dodgers lead 2-0. Ron Say facing Pat Jarvis again. He's one. I'm sorry. That was his first hit. That was his first hit in his career that you saw earlier in the game. He is now 1 for 8 on the season. Only had 2 at-bats in real life in 1971. Oh, that hit him. And Say is aboard on the HBP. Here is Don Sutton. In real life, a 216 batting average in 71. Here he's hitting 250. I'm sure he's going to bunt here. He does. Jarvis goes to Milan, who is covering first base. And that is now 1 out, but Say now moves to second for Maury Wills. Hit to left. Caught by the left fielder, Gar, and that holds Say at second. Wes Parker at first base. Grounder to the second baseman over to first. And it's 3 outs for the Dodgers in the fifth. So we go to the bottom of the fifth inning. It's 2-5-0 for the Dodgers and 0-3-0 for the Atlanta Braves. Felix Milan, the hitter for Atlanta, 400 on the year. Got a single in the second inning, so he can go 2 for 2. Well, he can't. Valentine to the first baseman Parker, and there are now 1 out in the fifth for Atlanta. Hal King is your catcher. 333, only 18 at-bats on the year, and against Sutton, he's 0 for 1. First time he's facing Sutton this year. Skied to right, and let's see, King's aboard as that got just in front of Allen for the base hit. Sonny Jackson, the shortstop, your new hitter for the Braves. Might be changing their names pretty soon. 4-6-3 double play to end the Atlanta threat in the fifth. So it's 2-0, and we'll go to the sixth inning. Willie Davis now up for the Dodgers, facing Pat Jarvis, who is still in there, battling in the sixth inning. Strike 3 called. 1 out. I'm going to change views here because that view does not allow me to see all of the action. Go to a wide camera. There we go. Dick Allen. Smashes it. Center fielder giving chase. Did he get enough of it? He did not. Lum made the putout. Two outs in the Dodgers sixth. Here's Willy Crawford, the last chance for L.A. Base hit over the middle. Brings up Bobby Valentine. Oh, that's a can of corn for the first baseman, Cepeda. So the Dodgers come away with nothing. We go to the bottom of the sixth. It's still 2-0 in favor of the Dodgers. Pat Jarvis stays in to hit against Don Sutton. It was a different time in 1971. This is skied. Sutton underneath it gives way. Valentine made the putout, and there is one gone. Ralph Garr up. Atlanta goes to the top of the order in the sixth. This is skied to right, but the right fielder, Dick Allen, making the putout. Two gone in the Atlanta sixth. Darrell Evans looks at ball four. That's going to bring up Hank Aaron, who could change the game around with a swing. 326 on the year, 9 homers, 23 ribbies, a 1.047 OPS. Last year he hit 298 with 38 homers and 118 RBIs. And Evans out by a mile trying to steal second base. Why on earth, if you are Atlanta, would you try to do that with Hank Aaron up? Going to the 7th now, 2-0 in favor of the Dodgers. We go back to Duke Sims facing Pat Jarvis. But they'll get Aaron to lead off in the Atlanta 7th. Sims looks at ball 4. Pat Jarvis still in there at 90 pitches, 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and 2 earned runs. Ron Say, the Penguin, 6-4, and that's it. They'll get the force, and that's it. Say goes to first on Sutton. Will bunt here. Actually, he does not. Popped up to the catcher. 2 outs. He did not bunt. It was one of those excuse me swings that you sometimes see pitchers execute. We go back to Maury Wills, last hope for the Dodgers in the 7th. He held up all 4. Wills a base stealing threat, but he's got Say behind him at 60, in front of him at 62, and Mills' rating is a 74. Don't think you'll see a double steal here. Here's Wes Parker. Just try to get it in the old-fashioned way. To first base, Cepeda steps on the bag, and we go to the 7th inning stretch. Since this is the second game, I will do it. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back. Oh, it's root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. But it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. There we go. Hank Aaron hitting for the Braves in the bottom of the 7th, facing Don Sutton, who's been quite spectacular so far. 6 inning pitch, 4 hits given up, a walk, 4 Ks. So see what Hammer and Hank can do. Ball 4, and Aaron is aboard. 1 on, nobody out for the Braves in the 7th. Here's Orlando Cepeda. Real life 276 hitter, and this he is 235, but it's still a very young season. Cepeda strokes this to left field for a base hit. Aaron's going to move to second and no more. Runners at first and second, nobody out for Mike Lum, who's now down to 160 on the year. Against righties, he is hitting an ugly 155. That is hit to right. Allen did make the put out, and Aaron was able to move to third base. This brings up Felix Milan, 1 for 2 on the day, hitting .395, 417 average in innings 7, 8, and 9. And we're in the 7th now. Base hit, and there goes the shutout for Sutton. It's now 2-1. So Cepeda at second, Milan at first for Hal King, and Sutton in a spot. This is skied. Left field. Crawford with the putout. 2 outs now. Sonny Jackson, the shortstop. And then you got to consider, do you go pinch hitter here? Hit the first, right to Wes Parker, who steps on the bag, and that's it for the Braves in the 7th. They get a run, but it's still 2-1. Dodgers leading. Willie Davis, center field. He's 1 for 3 on the day. On the first pitches, he's 217, 312 on the season now. To the second baseman, Milan, making the putout on a liner. This is going to be Allen, 284, 0 for 2 on the day. Real life, he hit 295 for I believe it's for the Dodgers. To the pitcher, over to first, 2 outs now. Jarvis still in. He's facing now Willy Crawford. 1 for 2 on the day, 265, 295 with bases empty. Skies this to left. Garr has it. So Atlanta goes quietly, which is just what the doctor ordered for Atlanta. We'll go to the bottom of the eighth. 2-1 Dodgers. Pat Jarvis stays in the game to hit. He's 0 for 2 on the day. Strike three is called, and Sutton now picks up another strikeout. He has 5 on the day, has given up 6 hits and an earned run. Grounder to the second baseman, over to first. And Garr was easily retired. Evans up 1 for 2, hitting .278. Skied the right. Dick Allen coming over, makes the putout, and the Braves go quietly in their eighth. We go to the ninth, 2-1 in favor of the Dodgers. Can they hold on? Tom Hooten comes in. He's a pinch hitter. He is 167 in innings 7 through 9, and that's also his batting average. 167, so they've been using him as a pinch hitter a lot. Hooten. Milan makes the play. No, he does not. He booted the ball. Infield hit for Hooten. I figured the ball was hit so well that he would have gotten on anyway. Milan did a good job deflecting it. Duke Sims stays in to hit at catching position. That's sharply hit. Right center field. Lum? No, it's Aaron who made the putout. So Say now up. 1 for 2 on the day. You saw his first major league hit. Wink, wink. Earlier in this game, he's now 1 for 9 in the season, 1 for 2 today. Oh, this is smashed. I don't know if Lum's going to get to this. It's a base hit. It's going to bring in a run. Say with a double, and it's 3-1. Kind of hard to tell with the fencing with Atlanta whether or not a ball goes over or goes to the wall or what have you. But insurance run for the Dodgers, 3-1. Manny Mota coming up. He's a pinch hitter. Career, he is 296 so far in the 71 season. He's a 300. He's a good man to have on your bench as a pinch hitter. Let's see what Manny Mota can do. Sharply hit, a base hit. That may bring in a run. Let's see. It's going to be a play at the plate, and the runner coming in is going to be out by a mile. Say was out by a good 3 to 4 seconds there. Mota scooted all the way to second, and it is still 3-1. We got Rick Kester into the game for Atlanta to pitch. He has had pitch so far 7 1/3 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 Ks. His ERA coming into the game, 6.14. And you see why they stuck with Pat Jarvis so long. That's sharply hit, but right to the second baseman. Milan over to first. And L.A. only gets a run in their ninth. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth, 3-1. Jim Brewer coming in to close the show for the Dodgers. And he's looking at Hank Aaron here to start the ninth. Oh, that's hit well. Deep to left, off the wall. And let's see how far Aaron goes. He's going for 3. He's safe. He's going to go for the plate inside the park. Home run for Hank Aaron. Well, that's one way to get a home run. That's his 10th of the year, and it's 3-2. Orlando Cepeda now up. If he jacks one, we're looking at a tie game. So Brewer to Cepeda, ball 4. So Cepeda on board. Will they pinch hit for him? They will not. Clete Boyer enters the game as a pinch hitter for Atlanta. He's 2 for 7 on the year. Skied the right field. Allen underneath it. 1 out. Felix Milan, probably Atlanta's best hitter at 402. Last year he only hit .310. Brewer 2 outs away from the save, but it hasn't been easy. Sharp hit to the shortstop, over for the putout. Nice play by Wills. They get the second out. Now we go to Earl Williams, who comes in as a pinch hitter for the Braves. The last hope for them. Trailing 3-2. Williams, a base hit over the middle. Runner going to go for third. But they get the runner at second as Davis threw a strike to the infield. And Williams was out by a country mile. Had he just held at third, they would have had a chance to at least tie the game. So rather crazy base running for Atlanta, and they run themselves right out of the ball game. Atlanta wins 3-2. Don Sutton got player of the game honors. He got the win. Brewer got the save. Jarvis got the loss. He goes to 0-6. And we'll recap what happened on this May 2nd, and then we'll get to our last game. It was Oakland over Cleveland, 7-4. Lowenstein, Nettles, and Mincher all homered. Hunter over Lamb. Locker with the save. Mincher player of the game effort. Got the player of the game honors. The Yankees over the Brewers, 5-4. Aker over Sanders. Blomberg and Soliata hitting homers for the Yankees. Aker over Sanders, and Lou Krause Jr. took player of the game honors there. White Sox and the Senators. It was the Senators probably coming back down to earth a little bit, losing 7-2. Frank Howard homered for the Senators. Harlan over Brown. Harlan player of the game. In Boston rebounded nicely from the loss yesterday. They beat Minnesota 7-6. Brett over Peranoski. A lot of home runs in this. Killebrew hit 2. Mitterwald hit 1. Beniquez, Caligliero, LeHoud, and Scott all hit homers for Boston, so he had 6 homers in the game. Killebrew was player of the game. In the nightcap of a doubleheader, the Brewers pounded the Yankees 10-1. Morris over Kikich. Porter hit a homer for the Brewers, and Gelnar was player of the game. Detroit and California. Detroit over the Angels 4-3. Chance over Fisher. Zepp with the save. Cash homered for Detroit, and Dean Chance won player of the game honors. Cleveland over Oakland 5-0. I believe this was a nightcap of a doubleheader. It was. Love those doubleheaders. And in that, Hand over Boyd, Ashby homered, and Hand won player of the game. Baltimore and Kansas City were rained out, and they will play on July 20th, 1971. At least in this sim, they will. The Giants over the Reds. No, the Giants lost to the Reds 5-1. Carbo got the home run for Cincinnati. Nolan over Perry, and Nolan got player of the game. 3-2, the game you just saw. The Dodgers over the Braves. Aaron homered. An inside the park home run, no less. Sutton over Jarvis. Brewer with the save, and Sutton took player of the game honors. In Pittsburgh, it was the Pirates getting goosed by San Diego 9-0. Campbell, Colbert, and Hicks all homering for the Padres. Roberts over Blass. Roberts player of the game. All it took was one hit for the Cardinals to defeat the Expos. 1-0. Carlton over Stoneman. That must have been quite a pitcher's duel. Drabowski, the save, and Carlton, player of the game. At Wrigley, it was the Cubs over the Phillies, 10-1. Jenkins over Bunning. Jenkins, player of the game. Homers by Hickman and Pepitone. Mets over the Astros 8-2. Gentry over Billingham. Agee took player of the game honors. Agee with a pair of home runs. And then it was the nightcap of a doubleheader. Cincinnati over the Giants 5-0. Ferguson homered for the Reds. Grimsley over Carruthers, and Grimsley took player of the game honors. Just 2 games on our next day of the docket, and which will be our last game for this week, and it's going to be the Cubs and the Mets, and we'll have the Cardinals and Phillies on standby if the game's a blowout. Hooten will face Jerry Kuzman at Shea. Leo DeRocher and Gil Hodges are the respective managers. 22,000 fans at Shea Stadium on a 45-degree night. So the starting lineups for the Cubbies: Kessinger, shortstop; Williams, left field; Santo, third base; Hal Breeden, center field; Tim McCarver, who we were talking about in the previous episode I did. He's catching. I do not have historical transactions set up. I just let the computer run everything and make their own trades. Callison, right field; Pipitone, first base; Coggins at second; Burt Hooten, pitching. For the Mets, Garrett at third; Womble at center field; Cleon Jones at left; Ed Kranepool, first base; Art Schmansky at right field; Grody catching; Brown, second base; Collins at shortstop; Jerry Koosman is your pitcher. Koosman, a 118 whip, and Hooten at 150. So let's head over, by the way of computer graphics, to Shea Stadium in Flushing, New York, the borough of Queens. Get this game going. Beautiful night for baseball, albeit a little cold. And Kessinger will lead off. Having a bit of a coughing fit here, folks, so if I go off mic or if I go a little slow, I apologize. Wind is going right to left at 13. Here's your pitch. Kessinger to the first baseman. He'll get it. 1 out. Kranepool with the unassisted putout. Billy Williams, left fielder. He skies this one. Left fielder giving chase, but he still makes the putout. That's Cleon Jones. 2 out now for the Cubs in the first. Of course, these two teams vied for the NL East Division title in 1969, the Cubs and the Mets. Cubs had it most of the way, but the Mets had a strong September and wound up taking it all. They won the National League East, the first ever National League playoff with Atlanta, and then they won the World Championship in the series, beating Baltimore, losing the first game, but then winning 4 in a row. Here's Ron Santo. Popped up, looking like the center fielder will get this, which would be Womble. I was going to say Tommy Agee, and I'm glad I didn't. So the Cubs go down in order. Here's Wayne Garrett, third baseman of the Mets, facing Burt Hooten, who just took Rookie of the Month honors for the Cubs. Skied. Center fielder will have it. Breeden. 1 out for the Mets. Here's Paul Womble. Good eye. Good stealer, but doesn't really have good speed, or has somewhat good power, but not very good contact. Strike 3 called. 2 outs now for the Mets in the first. Cleon Jones at left field. It's going to be skied to left. Can the left fielder get to it in time? No, he does not. It's a base hit for Cleon. Change the action view here, which is the wide TV camera. I'm going to go wide low instead. To Ed Kranepool, 268 on the year, but only 172 at home. Oh, that was a grounder between the pitcher and the first baseman that just died there. Pitcher Hooten threw at the first, and there are 3 outs. No score going to the second. Here's Hal Breeden. Breeden, 250 seeing the first pitch. He's only had 20 at-bats so far in the year. Jerry Koosman now has 37 and a third innings pitched, and his ERA 3.13. Strike 3 called. Breeden could not hold up in time. McCarver, of course, in real life, I think he played for the Cardinals still, but in this game, this sim, he got traded to the Cubbies. He's hitting 227, 182 against lefties, and that's what Jerry Koosman is. Strike 3 called, so Koosman back-to-back Ks. He has 2 in the game. The only 2 in the game. Johnny Callison. That is hit to center. I'm thinking it, yes. Womble with the putout. 3 outs. We go to the Mets second. No score. Art Szymanski. 294 on the season. 261 in his career with 63 homers. Szymanski grounded at a shortstop over the first. 1 out. We go now to Jerry Grody. 324 on the year, but 111 when he swings at the first pitch. Slow grounded at a shortstop over the first. 2 gone. Brings up Curtis Brown. 333 on the year. 333 with bases empty. So he's only had 6 at-bats this season. Ball 4. He's aboard. Brown has a 61 steal rating. Ronnie Collins. This is his first at-bat all year. He's playing shortstop, so the Mets playing a lot of players either due to injury or I don't know what all. Playing a lot of guys we don't usually see. And this is a stolen base attempt, and McCarver successfully gets the runner moving from first to second, who I cannot think of at the moment. Curtis Brown. So we go to the third, no score. Jerry Cruzman against Joe Pepitone. Pepitone, 269 when he sees the first pitch and swings at it. 229 with 7 homers and 17 RBIs. So far in 1971, this is hit to right. Szymanski with the putout. 1 out for the Cubbies in the third. This brings in Frank Coggins. 227 in his career, but 500 with the Cubbies. Coggins to first base. Pitcher covers. And the putout made. 2 out. This brings in Burt Hooten. Burt Hooten hitting at 133. 250 when he swings at the first pitch. And he strikes out. So easy as you please for both teams so far. The Cubs haven't had a hit yet, but the Mets come to hit in the third. Here's Ronnie Collins up again. Remember, the runner got caught stealing in the last at-bat for the last out for the Mets in the second, so Collins gets to come in again. Strike 3. I thought for a minute that would be ball 4, but it was not. Brings up Kuzman to hit. 083 so far on the year. He's hitting a little better at home, but only 167, 1 for 6. Kuzman to the shortstop. Over to first, 2 outs. So a quiet game so far at Shea. Gotta wonder if the cold temperatures are chilling the bats. Wayne Garrett as we go to the top of the order for the Mets in the third with 2 outs. That is hit right to the second baseman over the first. And the Mets come away with nothing in their third. We'll go to the fourth, no score. So Kuzman has not surrendered a hit yet, but we're only in the 4th inning, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. Don Kessinger up for the Cubs. He's leading off. Oh, that could be a hit, and it is. First hit of the game for the Cubbies. So Kessinger moves his batting average up to 224. Billy Williams, against lefties, he's 222, but overall so far in the 71 campaign, he is 292. Stolen base attempt for Kessinger, and they get him. So now 1 out. Williams looking at an 0-1 count, which becomes 3-1. Hit to right, a base hit. Right in front of Szymanski, I'm sorry. And now Ron Santo, a feared hitter, comes up with a runner at first and 1 out. Grounded at first baseman. He'll go to the shortstop. He goes back to first. It's a 3-6-3 double play. So the Cubs come away with nothing in the 4th. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. No score. Paul Womble. And if you haven't heard that name, let's show you his real life stats. He never got past AA in real life. And here come the coughs again. Maybe I should drink water or something. I don't know. So Womble leads it off. Again, he was no more than a double A hitter in real life. Never got past double A. Skied to center. Breeden made the put out. 1 out for the Mets in the fourth. Here's Cleon Jones. So maybe the Mets had a rash of injuries and they had to bring up some minor players. Jones to left field. That's an out. 2 outs for the Mets in the fourth for Ed Kranepool facing Burt Hooten. And that's a base hit. Just gets by the middle infielders. And the Mets have their second hit of the game. Shamsky with 61 power, 278. 0 for 3 with a runner at first. That was skied to the center fielder, Breeden. And we have played 4 scoreless innings. We'll go to the top of the fifth. No score. Very surprising, low-scoring game. On a cold evening at Shea, 44 degrees at first pitch. So now, Hal Breeden up for the Cubs. He's in the cleanup spot, hitting in fourth at center. Against Koosman, he's 0 for 1, but this is the first time he has faced Koosman all season. Shortstop to first out of the Cub fifth. Tim McCarver, 1 for 3 against Koosman this season. That's popped up. No, actually, it was hit in front of the catcher who threw to first, and he got the out. 2 outs in a fast-moving game. Cubs and Mets, top of the fifth. Johnny Callison, the new Cub hitter. Right to the second baseman who makes the putout all by himself. Chest-high liner. And the Cubs are out of the fifth. We'll go to the bottom of the fifth, halfway through the game. But nobody has scored. Each team with 2 hits. Jerry Grody, the catcher. 319 on the year. Smoked this one past the third baseman for a base hit to left. And Grody aboard with a base knock. Go to Curtis Brown again, 333 for him this season. But this was only his 7th at bat if it winds up being an out. He's only 2 for 6 on the year. Grounded to the third baseman that skirted with the foul line, but I think the throw was wide. It was. Everybody moves up 90 feet. So the Mets with a scoring threat. Here's Ronnie Collins. Strike 3 called. 2 outs. No, 1 out now for Jerry Koosman. Koosman now 0-77 in the season. Bunt. And a good one to the third baseman. Throws to first. That throw goes wide, and the Mets are going to get a run. Grody comes in to score, and we have our first run of the game. Cubs have made 2 errors in the Met fifth, and it's 1-0 Mets. Wayne Grevitt, infield in for the Cubbies, and that's second to first for the ground out. Infield plays normal depth now for Paul Womble. As we were telling you earlier, the best he ever did in real life was to get to the double-A level. Base hit. Womble's going to bring in an RBI. How about that? And McCarver, they tried to get a second run on the play, and the throw, the runner coming in was out by a mile. So that's 2-0. Going to the top of the sixth. Now Koosman faces Pepitone. Pepitone past the diving third baseman for a base hit. And Pepitone in with a double. We go to Frank Coggins. Kuzman dealing. Popped up. Center fielder with the putout. Womble. And we'll go through all the particulars of what happened on May 3rd, 1971, and then we'll get on out of here. Send you to the lot of the games going on this evening in baseball. The play-ins in the NBA. Don't get me started on the NBA play-ins. Pepitone at second. Kuzman pitching to Hooten. Hooten 125 on the year. Slow grounder to third. Throw to first, which was a long one. But the putout successfully scored. Pepitone stayed at second. Here's Kessinger. That sharply hit the left field, but right to Jones. And the Mets come to bat in the sixth with a 2-0 lead. No earned runs surrendered in that barrage by the Mets in the fifth with the 2 errors. So Hooten still in there with no earned runs surrendered. 4 hits, a walk, and 2 Ks and 60 pitches. Jones tried to keep the ball rolling here for the Mets. Grounder to the second baseman, over to first, 1 out. Ed Kranepool as I felt a cough coming on, so I took a sip of water. Facing Hooten now. Kranepool. And the second baseman catches it in the air for the second out. Shamsky, 263 on the year. In real life, 185. So he's ahead of himself, I guess you could say. And that's a base hit to center. And that brings Jerry Grody up, 329. Against righties, 311. Grounded to the first baseman. The pitcher will cover, even though the first baseman probably could have gotten to the bag all by himself. And we note that that was Joe Pepitone. Pepitone was always a little bit crazy. Going to the seventh, the Cubs trail 2-0, and here's Billy Williams. 341 away and 300 overall in his career, so he hits better when he gets away from Wrigley. So far for Kuzman, 62 pitches, 6 innings pitched, 3 Ks, 3 hits surrendered. Grounder to second, Williams makes the putout. Santo now up for the Cubs, facing Kuzman. Slow grounder, first base, pitcher covers, throws to first, gets the out. Here's Hal Breeden as I cough again. That sharply hit a base hit in front of the left fielder. Up now, Tim McCarver, 221 on the year, 274 career. Left field. Could not make the grab. Jones could not. And you got runners at first and second for the Cubbies with Jim Hickman coming up. Jim Hickman is a pinch hitter. I do not believe that to be his real. I've seen Jim Hickman's photo before, and that is not it. I'll just put it to you that way. They got the wrong Jim Hickman. This Hickman, 227 with runners at scoring position, and he's 20 for 89 so far on the year. He's hitting 225. Make a note to fix that photo. Base hit up the middle. Cubs might get a run out of this. They do. RBI for Hickman, and it's 2-1. Now McCarver at second, Hickman at first. A couple of slow base runners for Cleo James. James also a pinch hitter. So we'll have to take a look at the Chicago defense in this next inning coming up. That is hit somewhere. Shortstop with the pop-up catch. And we go to the bottom of the 7th, 2-1 Mets. And Burt Hooten comes in to face Curtis Brown. I hate to interrupt Take Me Out to the ball game, but there might be copyright issues with that. To the pitcher, over to first. Runner is safe. That was Brown beating it out. Curtis Brown. We go back to Ronnie Collins, 0 for 2 on the day. Hooten is still in. Let me reset the batting, the defense for the Cubs. It's Williams, Breeden, and Hickman. Hickman comes in to play right field. Santo, Kessinger, Coggins, and Ozzie Blanco is your new first baseman. Collins is at the plate. McCarver is still catching, and Hooten is still pitching. Strike 3 called. 0 for 3, and 3 strikeouts for Collins. Ken Singleton, who we saw in an earlier game, comes on to pinch hit for the pitcher. Hooten is still in there, by the way. Ball 4. So Ken Singleton moves to first, and that moves Curtis Brown to second. Wayne Garrett here. Let's see how fancy the Mets want to get. Skied to left. 2 out. And the runners do not try to move up. Paul Womble, 1 for 3 on the day. He's the last chance for the Mets in the 7th. Base hit, not a base hit, grounded to third. And it looked like it was bobbled by one of the middle infielders. And that's an error for the Cubs, their 3rd on the day. So they got that ugly little line score there of more errors than runs, 1-6-3. Cleon Jones. This is skied. And it looked like it was caught by the shortstop. It was. Cubbies dodge a bullet. And we go to the 8th. 2-1 in favor of the Mets. Frank Coggins leading off against Tug McGraw. McGraw comes in to pitch, and he will be the 5th hitter. Hitter in the 5-hole. As my cable has gone mashugana on me. To give you a score update, it's 2-0. The Lightning picking up 2 goals in the first 5 minutes against the Panthers. But if you see this on YouTube, this is a game that happened yesterday. And my cable is totally on the fritz now. So I'm just going to shut it off. This is what you do when that happens. Just focus on the game here. So Coggins, nobody out in the top of the 8th, facing Tug McGraw. And this is in an era where closers usually could go 2 innings. Ball 4. Coggins aboard. Glenn Beckert has come on to pinch hit in favor of Hooten. Beckert, 342 real life. He's hitting 202 in this 71 campaign in the first few days of May. Beckert to the shortstop, who catches it on a line out. 1 out now for the Cubs in the 8th. Kessinger, as they go to the top of the order. McGraw deals. Center fielder's going to catch this, I think. Yes. Womble. And there's now 2 outs in the 8th for Billy Williams, who's 297 now, 357 when he sees the first pitch and likes it. Oh, it hit him. It hit Williams. And that couldn't have come at a worse time for the Mets, putting runners at first and second now with 2 outs. Ron Santo. Ball 4. Bases are loaded now for the Cubbies. So McGraw at 18 pitches, he's looking at Hal Breeden with his 62 power. Oh, it bounces off the first baseman, but they try to throw the first. It's safe, and we have a brand new game. Mets make their first error of the game, and a bad time for it. We're dead even, 2-2. Tim McCarver facing Tug McGraw with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Oh, that's smashed. Looked like it fell in front of the right fielder. A base hit it is. 2 more runs score, and it's 4-2 Cubbies. 2 RBI single for McCarver to make it 4-2. Here's Jim Hickman. No, not that Jim Hickman, but a one with a color photo. Ball 4. So McGraw really messing it up here in the 8th, and you got to wonder how long Gil Hodges will stay with him. And so far the answer is at least one more hitter for Ozzie Blanco. Blanco to third, over to first, put out made. And finally the Mets are out of the 8th, but the damage was done. 3-run score, 4-2 Cubs going to the 8th of the Mets, bottom of the 8th. Krangpool will come in. Bob Miller is your pitcher for the Cubs. 4.15 ERA, 7 hits and 13 innings pitched. 6 earned runs, 7 walks, and 6 Ks. So the Mets might still have a chance at this. McGraw will be the second hitter, so they might want to pull him. Krangpool swings, grounder to second. Should be the first out. It is. Now what will the Mets do? They bring in Tommy Agee. So we will not see McGraw in the 9th. Grounder to third, but a slow one. Agee's going to beat it out. Agee on board. And this is going to bring up Jerry Grody. Grody. Skies to right. Does it had enough? No, it was caught near the warning track by the right fielder. Agee makes it to second base on the sack. And now you got 2 out and runner at second. And again, I'm feeling the coughing fits coming on like crazy. Ken Boswell hits this to left. Should stay in the park. It does. Billy Williams with the putout. We'll go to the 9th. 4-2 in favor of the Cubbies as I move over and turn my bedroom light on so I can see what I'm doing when I end this broadcast and move everything over to YouTube. I'll know what the hell I'm doing. Coming up on the 2-hour mark of the stream, you're watching TB Pauly on Twitch, and if you're watching this on YouTube, it's the Big Pauly's World of Sports Sims channel and Facebook group. We're in the top of the 9th, this third and last game that we're showing you from May of 71, almost over with. Cubbies leading 4-2. Here's Frank Coggins. Danny Frizella comes on for the Mets. He's a lefty. Base hit to right to start the Cubby 9th. Cubs had a 2-0 lead, and the Cubs got 1 in the 7th and 3 in the 8th to make it a 4-2 lead their way. Ernie Banks comes on the pinch hit. I beg your pardon. Banks is in at first base. Miller is in the pitch, and Miller is in the 7 hole. Strike 3 for Ernie Banks, Mr. Cub. Let's play 2. But he strikes out once in this game. Don Kessinger, shortstop. We go back to the top of the order for the Cubbies. Is that a double play? No, it's just a force at second. Ken Singleton came on, and I think this was in the 8th inning. He has been playing first base since then. Billy Williams now looking at Frisella. Grounder to the second baseman, over to first. We go to the 9th. The Mets will need 2 to extend the game, or 3 to win it right here in the 9th. 4-2. Ronnie Collins at shortstop facing Bob Miller. He has had 18 pitches so far, and he's a little wild. So this could be a very entertaining 9th. The pitch. Hit the right. But right to Hickman for the putout. Ken Singleton comes on. He's now playing first base for the Cubs. His first at bat. Ball 4. So Singleton, who came in the 8th, gets the board. Wayne Garrett, 212 hitter, .233 against righties. Both his homers came against righties. And Miller is a righty, so he might be in good position here. Hit the center. Let's see how far it goes, but not far enough. Breeden making the catch just in front of the warning track. So it's now up to Paul Womble, and he has some significant power. He's 59 overall, 58 against righties. Pitch to him. Strike three, and the Cubbies win 4-2, coming from behind and shellacking Tug McGraw. So it's the Cubs 4 and the Mets 2. See if I could change Hickman's pitching. No, I can't. I don't think I could do it from here. No, I can't. Okay. I should show you how to do this, though. So we'll go through the scores real quick, and I'll do my little one-on-one. Cardinals over the Phillies 7-4. Haig and Johnson homered. Lindsay over Selma. Haig was the player of the game in the game you just saw. Cubbies over the Mets 4-2. Hooten over McGraw. Miller got the save. Hooten player of the game honors. So let me just show you, if you really wanted to do this, how to do this, in case you don't know how to do this. Jim Hickman. We're looking for Jim Hickman, the right fielder. Okay, click on Hickman. This is not his right photo. I'm going to go to Editor. I go to Picture Functions. Import Photo File. You go to Filter. And you go H. That's not H. That's not an H either. Hickman. Actually, I hit the cap bar. Hit the cap bar again. I used to be good until my eyes started going. So Jim Hickman, Jim L. Hickman, I think is the correct. Yes, there it is. And that fixes that for you. So a last look at the standings. Orioles now leading over the Yankees and Senators by a game. Oakland over Minnesota by a half. The Mets over the Cubs by a half a game, so that Cubs win that you just saw helped. And the Giants over the Astros and Braves, the Astros by 1, and the Braves by 3. I hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation of Random Acts of OOTP. Thinking tomorrow I will take the day off, and we'll be back on Thursday with The Meet with Big Paulie over on YouTube. And this has been Big Paulie, TB Paulie here on Twitch. Godspeed and God bless. We'll do it all again soon, and bye-bye for now, everybody. And now I turn my devices off. Good night, YouTube.